Hey, welcome everybody, and another edition of Trish and Joanna sharing a little beverage. This is my crazy cat lady. Crazy cat lady. Yes, it is true. It is true. I now have 4 cats that live in my house, and then 2 main cats that are in the barn. And then there's a few that adopt us, but they all do really good work at the barn and they keep kind of the mouse population down. But anyway, that has nothing to do with our topic today. How are you, Joanna?
I'm wonderful, and welcome to all our listeners. Thank you for keep sending messages and comments and reaching out to Trish and I, either through the inbox or the public comments. We love hearing from you and we love interacting with you. So thank you so much. And my beverage today is a statement that today I will be a unicorn. I am a unicorn every day, but this is my sweet reminder of having the magic within myself big enough and bright enough to share with others.
We're going to talk today about the magic of money.
Money, 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 money.
Money, 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 money. And a lot of people are going to go like, money? And some people are going to go, money. And it really is how you think about money. But we have a lot of past beliefs that we bring forward with our relationship with money. And Joanna, what's a little bit about your background when it comes to money? Growing up in Colombia. I like
Growing
saying
up in Colombia, it is, and it's very interesting. The part of your perception of reality depend on the society and the environment that you are at, because in Colombia, I grew up with a person helping us at home every day of the week to clean, cook, organize for ourselves. And then if you talk about that in the United States and Canada, you're like, oh my God, you were rich, because only the rich people in these countries are able to afford something like that every day. But in Colombia and the South America countries, the labor is so cheap that middle class families can afford to have somebody there. So from one part, I grew up like that. I grew up in a middle class family, and we had this person that was working with us Monday to Saturday. She lived in our house and she handled the house. She get up, make breakfast, clean the house, make the laundry, have lunch, dinner. So I grow on that flow of easiness and effortlessly on course and that part, without never realizing how much that actually was equivalent to abundance, because I never had to care about, like, I always tell people here and they laugh, when I start working, I used to go back from work, I used to have to drive an hour from work to my house. And usually here and in countries in the north, you are thinking what I'm gonna eat, what I'm gonna cook, where I'm gonna stop. I literally will just take my phone, call her and say, today I'm in the mood for chicken and salad and maybe potatoes. And then by the time that I was home, everything was ready. So I live on that, but I never realized how amazing that was and how grateful I was. And I think that that is something that happened with abundance of money, that we are always looking for something up and we don't realize how much we have. So that is from one side. And from the other side, I grew up with my paternal figure, my dad, being very scared of money. So when he grew up on a feeling that he needs to control money and that he needs to save money to be safe and secure. And that was the imprint that I had growing up on. It was always saving. Like my dad had a very, after my parents divorced, my dad had a very good position in a 400 to 500 company, but we never enjoy the benefits of having that position, because we never went to nice vacations together. We never did fun things together that require investment of money, because he was just saving, 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 saving. And that was the mindset. So the mindset was a mindset of, we don't have enough and we are kind of poor because we cannot afford what other people afford, even when none of those things were real. Even when some of those were, we actually had the money, my dad just decided to put it apart. And the funny thing of that is, after I graduated from school, he actually made two bad investments with all his money and he lost everything. So after saving his entire life for a retirement free of preoccupations and free of debt, and after sacrificing the present moment with his family towards that future that he was seeing, he made two bad decisions and lose everything. And actually right now my dad live in a very constrained life. Like, he doesn't have a car, he drives a bicycle because he cannot afford a car right now. And it was very interesting to see how everything that he in his mindset did with money change, and he end losing it all anyway. So that is how I grew up, and that also, that mindset of, you have to work really hard. I always saw him working really hard, 14, 15 hours. He will always come home super sweaty and tired. And that is what I learned about money and about working, is I need to work hard to deserve having good things. And I need to try harder than everybody else to deserve things. So that's pretty much. What about you?
The family dynamics for me is maybe from my generation typical. My mom stayed home to raise the kids. My dad went to work, and he was an entrepreneur. He actually is a civil engineer and a land surveyor. He was in his own business with a partner and drove to downtown Calgary. And it was, again, the mindset of, you have to work really, really, really hard in order to have money. Now, funnily enough, my sister and I both became entrepreneurs. So that role model was there for sure. And I remember visiting his office a lot. And my biggest memory was how they had fun. They actually had fun. They played the cribbage. That was the big thing that they did whenever they had breaks. Everything was super organized, and it was very, a really good team atmosphere. So I remember that. But Dad did everything that he needed to do to provide for his family. And I have a vivid memory of me being a small girl. I was maybe 5 years old. And I can see myself peering out of the curtains and crying because Dad was going on the road again when he was actively a land surveyor, and he would be gone for weeks at a time. So that instilled in me that you also didn't always have to be present for your family. Like, you did what needed to be done to make ends meet. So I guess a good thing, but I remember it being a lot of loss in my world. I got the allowance, my sister and I, for doing chores. And, I'm not a parent, so some people agree or disagree with that. But I really feel that it allowed me to understand that there was some value in doing things for others and in participating. And my mother was the biggest influence in saving. When I was 16, she took me to the bank to apply for a credit card. And back then, that was before debit cards. So you had a checkbook. And the reason that we needed the credit card was you had to have that as ID so that you could write a check to pay for things. She taught me about banking and saving and Canada savings bonds. And she taught me all about that. And I'm super grateful for that. And the credit card to me was not to be spent. Like I didn't go to the mall and I didn't buy the sweatshirt. I was almost afraid of putting anything on the credit card in case I couldn't pay it off. So it was there strictly for a form of identification, not for anything that I would want to spend after. And as my parents evolved, they were so amazing, and I will be ever grateful for the fact that they really, really tried to provide for my sister Susan and I anything that we wanted. But what I didn't know is that they actually went in debt to do that. And so when it came time for Dad to sell the company, they didn't really have as much retirement and savings themselves, because they just wanted to give so much to themselves and the church and everything else. So that was kind of a shocker, I guess, for me to realize that my vision of this glorious retirement was so much different than the life that they led, because they traveled a lot. I love to travel. They went to conventions all over the world. I love to go places and learn. But when they were finished, when they got retired, they didn't have really enough money to go and stay with that lifestyle. So that was interesting for me, and probably a good influence for me. So, I want to be able to stay physically active, but also financially able to do what I want to be able to do.
And I think that you touch on a point that I was the same with credit cards. And I think that one of the biggest issues that we have as culture worldwide with money is that more and more culturally, people are losing the concept of what money really means, because it's so easy to get credit cards and it's so easy just pass the plastic and get the things that you want, that a lot of people don't have that awareness that you had of, I will have to pay for this, so what if I buy this and I don't have the money to pay for it? So I was exactly the same. Like, I pay everything with a credit card, but I pay everything immediately 100% within the next 30 days. So the credit cards work for me and not me work for them paying interest. But I think that on the money perspective, to all the people that is listening to us, one thing that I will suggest you to do is review your relationship with your credit cards and take back the last 12 months and see how many times you pay interest. And if you pay interest, add up all the interest that you pay in 12 months. Because you put every month $5-7 in each credit card, you don't see it as a big deal. But when you add 3 or 4 credit cards times $5 times 12 months, you are going to see how much money you are just giving away for no reason. You are just throw it in the toilet, literally. So that will be a big one on that one. And my invitation will be, switch the mentality of making the credit cards work for you. The credit cards are good. The credit cards are good because they give you points, they give you rewards, they give you cash back. They are good if they work for you and you don't become a slave of them, because that is what the banks want to. They want to give you the freedom for the credit card, and then you have a lot of debt, and they charge ridiculous high amount of interest on everything that you own them, and that is how they make their profit. Like, that is like free money for them. They don't even have to do anything. You do all the work for them, and then you pay them for it. So that would be a big aha moment that I had when you were talking about it. And with that, I think that some of the, let's gonna talk about this, some of the most common belief about money. I will talk about some that I work with and I'm still working on. The first one is that um, rich people is evil and rich people is bad. And then if I want to be a good person, I may not want to have a lot of money. I see that one a lot. The other one that we both talk is you need to work really hard to have money. And one that I'm working right now is there is not enough money for
Yes.
everybody. So they had it, but I will not have it. What about you? What are some of those beliefs that you see in others or you saw in yourself around money and abundance?
The strongest one is definitely that you have to work hard. And it's been an interesting journey for me, and I'm not quite sure yet at what point, and nor do I really need to know, because I have an affirmation. Money comes to me in ever increasing amounts from multiple sources on a continuous basis. I learned that from Bob Proctor over 25 years ago. And so when I want something, when I want to do something, the money comes. But then there's the life of the entrepreneur. And you have a business. And you have vet bills to pay and horses to feed and places to go. And I have a lot of staff that I have to pay. And all of a sudden, everything started to kind of get out of control. Those credit cards you were talking about, oh yeah. You know, I don't know, it's give the vet your credit card. Yeah, but anyway, it got to be a very different vibration for me. The 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 debt, the credit card, and I lost. Even though I would say that affirmation, and it's on my fridge, and I would look at it every day. There was, affirmations are okay, but if you still deep down don't believe it, it's not going to happen. And so I just started to not look at it. If I don't look at the money, if I don't really look at the credit card statements every month, then maybe they'll just go away. I don't know what I thought. I don't have any idea what I was thinking, because that is definitely not the responsible way. And I have shifted that with the help of my friend Jennifer McFarland. She is the money medium coach, and we've worked together for 2 years. And she has really helped me just boldly look where no man has gone before. And just, I look at my bank account, and instead of looking at what I maybe don't have, I actually look and I celebrate. Every time I get money from a client, I go through a feeling of appreciation. And then I made this little thing called my money book. And what's in here is actually, it's everything that I will have to pay as a debt or a bill or staff or anything. It's all in this book. And I just gleefully check it off when I pay, and I flip through it and I strategize now on, which you'll be happy, Joanna. I actually have a system and a process now for doing things. And all of a sudden, money is starting to come again and flow so much better for me since I just did this little book. And when I just wake up in the morning and I do my morning routine, and then I just open the bank account and I look at it, and I'm grateful for everything that's there. And it's just shifted my whole vibration around it. It's amazing.
And that is so powerful, the point that you have, and you start touching on the behaviors and the techniques that we want to share with everybody that is listening, and is that you are completely right. Like, one of the biggest lies of the last 20 years was that affirmations and the secret, the law of attraction, is just repeating what you want, and hocus pocus is coming up. One thing that everybody needs to know is your reptile brain in the back of your head, the only purpose of that reptile brain is keep you safe, alive, and protected. So you can say whatever you want, that if your reptile brain don't have clear evidence that that's even possible, your reptile brain will just block off whatever you are saying. So I can say here, I want to be a billionaire, I want to be a billionaire, I want to be a billionaire. If my reptile brain don't have any evidence that that is even possible, my reptile brain will say like, hey, I will protect you, don't worry about it, we are going to just block that from your system. So that is a very good point about money that a lot of people, I think, that make the mistake of, and it's just making affirmations and mantras about abundance is not enough. Is getting into that vibration of appreciating what you have. I think that is so powerful that you mentioned, and I do it as well. And I think that we mentioned this on our love episode, and applies to money too, and is have the time to be grateful for what you have, instead of start worrying and concerned about what you need to gain in the future, or the money that you still don't have. Pay attention to the things that you are grateful for that you have. And the reality is, every single one of you that is listening this podcast, if you have a roof, either rent or own, if you can drink water, potable water, from your sink or from your refrigerator, if you have clothes to keep you warm on the bad weather, if you have an AC and a heater in your house to protect you from the environment, you are more abundant and more rich than the kings and the queens 3,000 and 4,000 years ago. And sometimes we just get so used to it. Is that reminds me of the story of the climbing the Mount Everest. We start climbing and climbing, and we are always looking up how much is left, how much more we have to climb, and we usually forget to look back and say, holy cow, look everything that I gain, and look everything that I already have. And it's the same with money and abundance. Is when we get to that frequency of appreciating what we have already, and what you are saying, I love what you say, celebrate what you have, then the universe will give you more of that. Because at the end, like I believe, and I know that you believe too, the universe gives us more of what, not what we are thinking, but what we are feeling and we are vibrating. So if we are vibrating with fear of paying the bill, and I don't have enough money, and I will never be a millionaire, and I hate Richard Branson because he's a billionaire and I'm not, the universe is going to just respond to that and give us more of that, because that is where we're putting our attention. So I love, love, love what you said. The one other technique that I start using is one that I learned in manifestation challenge that you teach me in December, and is the one of sending a gratitude message on every receipt that I had of anything that I spent on myself. So having that, saying like, hey, I'm releasing this money, and I'm releasing this money trusting that there is going to be ways that this money is coming back to me, and trusting that I don't have to have control about how to make every single penny, but if I'm just tuned with the universe, and I'm doing my part, and I'm working, I will attract and find the doors that will open for the money to manifest and come.
Yeah, I think two things have come to mind while you were talking, and you touched on the jealousy part of they have it and I don't. And I find myself looking at other people that are selling their horses, and yet mine, who I know are brilliant, I still have. Now, I know my horses love to stay here because it's amazing, but they're ready for their new people. But I found myself going, well, how come they sold that? Why isn't anyone coming here? Why isn't, these are really nice horses. What is happening? And then I also thought, we're taking two beautiful offspring of my stallion Centum to California. And I was telling myself, and I even said that to my partner here, I said, oh, I know, but it's really hard to sell them down there. Really? And so I've totally changed that. And now it's, what will it feel like to have all the money in the bank from the sale of my horses? What will it feel like to find a new home with loving people and great programs for my horses? And so I've just really just keep putting that out there to change my vibration about it. Because they're cool horses. So if anyone's looking for a horse to buy, I got some. But anyway, and I had forgotten actually about the receipt, and that's what I do when I pay the bills. I'm very thankful about that. But that's a really good tip to really release the money. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's. I think that the last one of the last things that I want to share with all of you for going a little bit more into the woo woo is money is not real. Like if you go 100,000 years ago, money didn't exist. Money was a human creation because when we start evolving and the tribes start connecting with each other, when you were inside a tribe and that was the only thing, there was no need for money because you were just exchanging services and support from each other and everybody had all their needs met. But when the tribes start interconnecting, they start having that challenge of, well, I'm going to interact with you and I'm not going to see you until 5 months from now. So it is just a symbol of exchange of energy, service, or products. So when we also start thinking of money like that and remove the power that money have and start claiming that power of, hey, money is just a representation, it's just a symbol of my services, my product, and what I'm giving or receiving, then I think that the energy flow a little better because we remove that taboo of, oh my God, God money is out there outside of us. No, we are the money. And I say we are the money because if we didn't have the services and the spirit of contribute and help and support, there was no need for money because the exchange will never happen. So because we have those things and those talents and we exchange them with others is because that is why we need money to represent the transaction. So I
think that's a big one for any of my horsey equestrian professional friends that are out there. And I know Joanna and I both come from a place of being very generous and very giving people. So it can be a little daunting to ask people for money, to really feel your value and your worth for exchanging what you are actually enabling people and serving people and the gifts that you are giving them, and that you do deserve to have it back. And I had an exchange with a very close friend that was coming to do some work on my horses. And it was like, I started to think, oh God, can I really afford 3 of them? Can all 3 of them have a treatment? And I said that to her. I'm not just quite sure because I had this large bill to pay. And so she said, well, I could, because it's you and because there's 3, I could give you a discount. And that was very generous of her. but I did remind her as well as myself that we really have to value ourselves and what we are worth. And so even though you're offering me this cut rate, just remember that you're worth every single penny that you are bringing your gifts to my world and my horses. And I am very happy for that. And with a lot of gratitude, I do not mind paying you for that. So it was a very interesting energy exchange for both of us.
And that bring me, and even we are getting close to the final to ending the episode, but for all of you that are listening, I will give you a homework. Think on those specific things that you say, oh, I will do that for free anytime because I love to do that. And I want you to write those down, because what that means is that those are your natural magical gifts. And those are the most challenging ones to charge for, because you just feel your heart so much because they are so aligned with your purpose that you are like, I don't care if you pay me, I will help you because that just feel my heart. And that is one of the mindsets that we need to work on, learning to receive. Especially we females, we are very good giving and nobody teaches how to receive. So take yourself that awareness of saying, what are the things that I will be willing to do for free because they just make me happy, and start being aware of how many times you do them for free. And the reality is you are not valuing, like Tricia said, you are not valuing yourself, and you are not putting yourself the self-esteem of how amazing and magical you are, and you are blocking abundance, because remember, money is just a transaction symbol of an exchange. So if you're not accepting the money, you are not accepting the energy transaction and the energy exchange. So you are blocking yourself. I'm not telling you that you need to charge money every time. There is time that I say, hey, you know what, let's gonna charge, I will charge normally $5,000, but let's gonna have $2,500 of that in cash, in actually money transaction, and the other $2,500 will be on this kind of service that I'm very interested that you provide, and we can exchange. So the last thing that I want to say is two things: learn to receive, practice to receive, and the other one is abundance is not equal money. You can have abundance on many other ways in addition to money. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And educate yourself about money. Joanna and I on our Facebook page, Spiral Up Living, SUL, we're going to share some of the books that we have used to help with our mindset around money. And we invite you to also share yours. And if you need any help around this subject, feel free to reach out to myself or Joanna. We would be more than happy to help you work through some of your mindset or beliefs or whatever's coming up for you. We are here for you.
Just remember that, like our podcast name, Spiral Up, is not about being perfect. It's about to start spiraling up every day a little better. So, yeah.
Little bit at a time, little bit at a time. It's easy to get discouraged. And Joanna and I know this well because we really want to be over there when we're here, but just one step at a time. And we can help you take those steps.
Yeah. And remember that what this community is for, is to support each other, help each other in a free of judgment environment. Doesn't matter where you are right now. What it matters is what we can do together to take you to the next step and to take you a level up, spiraling up your life. So thank you so much. Please keep liking and commenting the videos on the posts, interacting with us. Send questions, send themes if you have something that you want us to talk about. And we are grateful to be building this amazing community and being surrounded by people that think like us and share the values and the interests that we do.
Cheers.
Cheers. Keep spiraling up, my friends. Bye-bye.